Hello and welcome back to Running on Pixie Dust, my podcast and a YouTube series. I'm your host Annika, and in this podcast we discuss life in Orlando, but specifically training for the Dopey Challenge 2023, which is running the 5K, 10K, half marathon, and full marathon for the first time. Be sure to check out last week's episode for a recap of weeks 10 and 11 of training. I'm following the Jeff Galloway plan. And I covered my 11-mile long run, my Halloween events, as well as runner safety. So check that out. But welcome to week 12, aka post week 12 of the Jeff Galloway training program that I am trying my hardest to stick to. And I've actually done a pretty good job, other than like here and there, I'll like swap runs, or I'll kind of just count runs if I'm like going to a Disney park all day long and getting like 23,000 steps in. I'm gonna like skip the scheduled walk, if you know what I mean, which I'll talk about more in this episode. But week 12, technically episode 11, because I was slacking, but I talk all about that in last week's episode in case you missed it. But anyway, in this episode I will be covering how week 12 went. I did my long run early. I had some special visitors come to Disney World this weekend, and oh my gosh, so fun, so exhausting. Settling into my house though, and we're doing the things. So, hello, week 12. Okay, we had on the Jeff Galloway schedule 2 45-minute runs, obviously, and this week was the first week that we added on a fourth day, which is a walk right now. I'm pretty sure later on the plan, I don't have it right in front of me, but later on in the plan, it starts adding in 4 runs and then like maybe an extra walk just to kind of get you into the Dopey Challenge routine mindset, get your body used to back-to-back runs, things like that. So the fourth extra walk run was a 4-mile walk, and then the long run that was scheduled was 13 miles. So yeah, we had just about a half marathon. It wasn't 13.1, which I don't know why they don't just like do 13.1. Come on, do a half marathon. You're right there. You're right there. We know how important that 0.1 is, as well as that 0.2 for your 10Ks and your marathons. So while those 0.1s and 0.2s are difficult, you might as well just do them. You might as well. You're right there. So that was up on the schedule this week, which I will talk about in a couple of segments. But first, upcoming races: Wine and Dine Challenge in November, Dopey Challenge, Princess 10K, and Springtime Surprise, my usual. I've been seeing, though, that some of the races have been opening up here and there. I think someone posted like earlier today that the marathon opened up for marathon weekend. I think the challenge reopened for Princess. So if you're someone who is looking to get registered for any of the Run Disney races at any point on registration day or later, then keep your eyes out on the Run Disney website, because they reopened them. And I think there's like Twitter accounts dedicated to them. And I mean, I say that, but I know that there are. I just don't know what they're called because I don't follow them. But I have been hearing that people who want to stay up to date on open races join the Facebook groups, follow the Twitter accounts, do all of that, because it's definitely possible. Moving on to highs, lows of the weeks. Of the week this week. Highs. Okay. I'm settling more into my house. I really want to get like a podcast corner going, maybe get like a fun chair or like a cute little sign or something, just to make it feel more like official rather than me just kind of throwing up my camera. I really did not word that nicely. Putting up my camera to just film and like having the microphone on my desk and my blank white walls behind me. But we'll get there. Maybe one day. And like I mentioned before, my special guest visited me. Okay, so backstory. If you weren't following me on Instagram at Annika's Paintbrush, I was posting on my stories all weekend long about all my friends visiting. So I think in episode 0, I might have touched upon this, but I did a really unique study abroad program called Semester at Sea. And it's a program where you live on a ship for your study abroad program and for a semester, which was 4 months long. And you literally sail from the routes vary, but my voyage, we literally sailed around the world. So we started in Germany. We had 2 ports in Spain, had 2 ports in Ghana, stopped in South Africa, India, Myanmar, Vietnam, China, Japan, sailed through Hawaii back to San Diego to the United States, which I mean, Hawaii is the United States too, but back on the, what do they call it? Continental US or something? Obviously a geography queen. Anyway, super awesome program. Literally exactly like the Sweet Life on Deck, living on a ship. We had school every day that we were sailing, and then when we were in port in each of the countries, we did not have school. So it was just crazy to think about. But I met 5 really good friends. One was my roommate on the ship. We shared our little cabin, and we just happened to meet the other girls and came up with this girl group of 6. So we had family dinners on the ship. There were times when you could like put a special order in for cakes. You could like sign up for fancy dinners on the ship, which like you had to pay extra for, whereas like, you know, normal food was like included with your tuition. It's kind of like a room and board situation. Just backstory. But I just remember we ordered a cake one night for the 6 of us, and the running joke was if you are in the dining rooms and like someone orders a cake for someone's birthday, then that means that there's going to be extras. And that means if you kind of loiter around and walk by at the perfect moment, you could be offered a slice of cake that you didn't have to pay for. And the 6 of us decided that we would order a cake and just cut it into 6 slices and not share with anyone else. And I don't know why we thought that was like so hilarious, but we literally ate the entire cake ourselves. So we were just, I don't know. Good times, man. Good times. And not to mention, like, none of us knew each other prior to this, and we had just met on the ship and spent 4 months in close quarters with no Wi-Fi, literally traveling the world together. So you become real close. I compare it to, like, The Bachelorette. Like, these people were finding love in, like, 30 days. Well, we found besties and friends for life in our 4-month situation. So anyway, they all came to visit me, and some of them had never been to Disney World before. So me being the Disney freak that I am and living here and having the perks that I have, I basically planned the entire weekend for us to have this amazing, well, staycation for me, vacation for them. And we would do all the parks, we would do all the things, and get to actually have all of us together again for the first time in 5 years. So we did our study abroad in 2017. It's now 2022, and I've seen a couple of them once spread out separately, but we haven't had all of us together in one place in 5 years. So that was kind of crazy, and also crazy that the fact that like we were able to make this work. You know, you send text in the group message like, oh, let's plan a trip, and then it like never happens, or like no, or people back out or whatever it is, but we made it happen, I was kind of in awe of that the entire weekend, to be honest, but literally amazing. So they all flew in. A couple of them are from New York, one is from Colorado, one is from Singapore, and I was so happy and so emotional, and we were all just in disbelief that it had been 5 years, because we all got together and it felt like no time had passed. And it was like, oh, we're going back to the ship tonight, right? Like, time to go home, like the ship. But yeah, so it was like so nostalgic, so fun, and then so sad at the end. But we did visit all 4 parks. We stayed at Art of Animation and the Cozy Cone Motel. I just call it the Cozy Cone because it's like the Cars buildings. But we had a Cars family suite, and I got us hosted at Planet Hollywood, posted about that on my Instagram, which was great, and such a good weekend with with old friends. I'm so sad thinking about it, but I think we definitely like revived the group chat, and like we're all gonna keep more in touch, I think, because I mean, the pandemic obviously took a toll, and like we couldn't travel as much as we probably would have, and like plan other trips to visit each other. So we were like, okay, let's not wait 5 years again. Thanks. So that was like the biggest high of the week, I think. But following that, I did complete the 13 miles from the schedule and ran a half marathon. I ran the 13.1 because you're already there. You are already there. So I'll be covering that. But lows, don't really have lows. I'm just exhausted. Like exhausted because it's just been go, 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 go. And I haven't really gotten a routine yet, especially being in like my new house and with all these like trips I've been taking, which like not really trips because I haven't left Orlando, but I've like slept in hotels and like at my friend's house, and we've been going to these ticketed events and special events. I don't know. This just, it feels like I've been doing so much traveling, even though I haven't left Orlando. So yeah, exhausted. The runs are starting to feel repetitive. Like I know I mentioned this before, and like some of the runs were already kind of feeling repetitive, but I think switching up locations and like switching up, not necessarily like run buddies, but like when you run with like someone new, it kind of makes the run like more exciting. I don't even know if that's like wording right. It just changes it up. Like I love all my running buddies, but like at the same time, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, same place, it's just like, okay, I need to change this up. And I really shouldn't say that about running buddies. It's more about like the actual running location, not the running people. I love my running buddies. So I did have a running buddy this week too, which was great. Okay, jumping in to my week 12, which I had 13-mile long run, like I said. So I did skip one of the 45-minute runs. I just straight up skipped it. Like, did not do it. But I was at the parks with my parents for like an entire day. So like, honestly, I do like little trades. So if I'm planning on doing a park day, like rope chop to park close, then I can give myself a break and I'll let myself like skip one of my 45-minute runs, because it's like you're already putting your legs through a lot and your feet through a lot. And while it's not the equivalent to running, like I'm just going to call it good. As opposed to like if I just skipped it and then like laid on the couch all day, then I would be like, okay, well that's not an equivalent. That's not a trade, because that's definitely not. But I did skip one. I forced myself to do the second one because I was like, girl, you got to run a half marathon this week. Like, you can't skip all your training runs and only do the half, because you just can't do that. For the 4-mile walk that was scheduled this week, I also did a little trade and just counted that because I was with my friends all weekend at Disney, and we did rope drop to park close. Like, only on one of the days, but we did do all 4 parks in 2 days. So I'm just going to count it for my 4-mile walk, because we like literally got like 23,000 steps each day. I will say though, on the 13-mile run, I kind of felt that I had skipped a couple of my 45-minute runs. So that was kind of a wake-up call on like how important those runs still are to do. So yeah, I need to be better. But like, I think after this week, I can settle into an actual routine, and I won't be like craziness all over the place every single week like it has been. So just hoping for the best on that one. But anyway, for my 13-mile run, I rescheduled, because like normally I like to do them on the weekends. I rescheduled it to be during the week, like I have been doing for a lot of my long runs, because I've been so busy on the weekends. So I moved it to like Thursday mornings, right before I had to go pick up my friends from the airport. And I was glad I did that, because then I could like get it done and then go play all the rest of the weekend and like be content with that. But I ran with my friend Shruti, and she's been doing Run Disney a long time, and I don't even know exactly how long she's been doing it, but like we became friends in the Disney community, like Disney Instagrams, and like both doing Run Disney, and I've done a couple of the Run Disney expos with her. So I told her she needs to come on the podcast, and we need to have an episode with Shruti because she's like a Run Disney veteran too. So I don't know. I think it'd be a great episode. And she was like, yeah. But anyway, planned to run with Shruti, and I was so excited because I did not want to have to run a half marathon by myself. Like, granted, I would, but it's just not as fun. And like, I probably would have walked a lot more and like gave up sooner. Realistically, especially since I was like feeling it the last like 2 or 3 miles. I was like, oh my god, I still have this much left. Are you kidding? But I wanted to start like a little bit early, but I took the day off from work, so I didn't have to like rush back. The only thing I had to like really be on time for was going to pick up my friends from the airport. So I had to start early, but also wanted to for Florida weather, the sunshine. But then you also don't want to start too early because then it's like pitch black dark out and you just feel unsafe. And we ran in like a pretty safe area though, and the sun was like kind of starting to come up when I started. So started at about like 6:45ish a.m. and I had all my gear with me, I'll say that much. And my new Go Guarded ring came in, and happy to have that on me whenever I go on runs. But Shruti was like running a little bit late, so she was like, you go start without me and I'll meet you on the run. And so we did that. I got in about 2 miles, and then she came and found me, and we picked up there. And then once we finished, like, she completed the 2 miles at the end, so that we both got that 13.1 done, which worked out great. I packed my like running vest with 2 goos this time and my Honey Stinger chews. Those have been pretty good on the runs. Like, I think I'll open the honey Stinger gummies things, energy bites. I'll open those up about mile 4, and I'll eat like a couple of them. There's just so many in the bag, so I really spread it out around along the whole run. But had my first goo at about mile 6. That's kind of been my routine, is like I'll start taking fuel at about mile 4, and then like every couple of miles like checking in where I'm at. So at mile 6 I took my first goo. I tried the s'mores goo this time. Whew. Okay, so now I know what flavors of goo I like. I like the s'mores one for sure, the chocolate one, and I think more of the sweet frosting-y ones I like. You know, because I would eat like a chocolate frosting, but I think the fruity ones I might need to stay away from. And then like the vanilla one I'm not sure about. So we'll come back to that. I know for sure I hate the salted caramel. Hate. Double hate. Triple hate. Loathe entire. Okay, I'm done. But yeah, so I had my second goo, I think, at about mile like 10 or 11. And then I would periodically just kind of grab a couple of the Honey Stinger gummies. And I shared some with Shruti too. And I think I still had like 1 or 2 left because there's just so many in that bag. But then I don't want to like save them once they're open. And they've been like in my vest and they get gross. No. So, but I did my best to try to eat as many as I could. But I definitely was a little bit hesitant of running out of water. I just got a new insulated bladder. I can't laugh, but that's what they're called. The little bag that goes in like the Camelback vest. And I bought one on Amazon that is 1.5 liters and it's insulated. So it would keep the water a lot cooler for longer. And it also kept my back pretty cool for at least the beginning of the run. But with this Florida heat, man, the sun came up about pretty early on in the run. And it was getting rough. But I was really scared of running out of water because for my like 11-mile run, I ran out of water and I'm pretty sure I packed 1.5 liters. So I ended up packing my like flexible water bottles I ordered. I got like a small one and like a larger one off Amazon too. And they're like bags almost because they're so like flimsy unless you like fill them up. So I filled up the large and the small. I put those in the freezer overnight, and then I also put my goos in the freezer overnight so that by the time I'm actually like needing them, they're not like melted and hot and gross, because that's key. in Florida. But I packed it all in my bag, and it was like so packed that I had to like loosen the front straps on my vest because it was so overpacked because I had all that water and it was like pretty heavy. But I was like, I don't want to run out of water. I just don't. Like, there's no place to stop in the places that I run. Like, it's not like you can just run into McDonald's or like a gas station. Like, I like to run on like trails and like change it up in like different locations and stuff. So it's like I can't go in advance either to like set things aside. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out something for the later runs. I'm gonna have to like have a refill station like in my car and just like come back to it or something. I don't know. But I was actually okay. I did not run out of water. I actually had extra water. And by the way, I also like pour Gatorade indoor Powerade into like the bladder and mix it with water to do like half and half. And I also tried the like what's the name of them? They're like little salt electrolyte pill things. And they were like, take 1 to 3 for every like 90 minute of sweaty exercise and take with water, blah, blah, blah. I tried one. I don't know if it actually did anything, but I mean, I guess I didn't pass out, so that's good. But I saw a couple comments from last week's episode saying how you guys will like set extra bottles like on your route or like do that. And I don't know. It's also annoying to have to like take off the vest and like dig out the water bag. And like the way my pack is, it like has such a small zipper that it's like really annoying to like get the bag out. And I mean, I'm also really dramatic and lazy. So it's just like, that's just so much work. Like, and like I'm already like losing motivation to finish the run. Like, if I have to refill my water bag, like, please, no. Like, I'm done. Like, I think also subconsciously, maybe I was afraid of running out of water because I had plenty to spare at the end. Like, maybe it wasn't as hot as it was for the 11-mile run, but it was actually so nice. I think it was like 72 degrees when I started. At least my car said it was. And then it was definitely in the 80s when the sun came up and pretty humid. I was soaking wet from sweat. And then I also would take like the smaller water bottles and like dump water on my head, on my face, and my neck, and like not a lot, just a little bit to like get a quick cool down. But I just remember sitting in my car driving home, I was just like wet. And I like came home like immediately was going to the shower, and I was like, my clothes feel like I already took a shower. Like, that's how wet they were from a combination of sweat and me dumping water on myself. So delicious. But yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. I liked having the separate bottle, but also like the bigger water bottle, once I like pulled that out of like the backpack section of my running vest and I put it up front so that I could like reach it, it was like sloshing around and annoying me, and I just prefer it having it like on my back. And I don't like holding anything. Like, I don't like the handheld water bottles. Like, the bigger one I have, it has a sleeve and like a handle on the like case that you can put it in your hand. But I don't like holding things. I don't want anything in my hand. No. So, I don't know. I might just have to get over the fact that I'm going to have to, like, take my little water bag out of the vest and pour water into it. But then it's like you're pouring water that's not as cold as, like, I don't know. I'm just going to have to get over it. Oh, and I leave the bag, the water bladder, in my fridge overnight. I might look into freezing it, but I don't know. I think putting it in the fridge is like good enough, and maybe I'll add ice next time so that it stays like cooler. Like in the mornings I'll just add ice to it and then have it ready to go. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll keep you updated. But anyway, moving on to the final segment, by the numbers, countdowns to upcoming races from posting date, which is September 21st. And I apologize that I was not posting on my usual Monday, but I hope you forgive me. Anyway, wine and dine weekend, November 3rd through 6th. That is just 1 month and 13 days away. I have my little Mickey Mouse countdown that I got from Disney World. They sell these little like days until, and like the other side has like the date if you want, but you can add your own like days until, and I have days until wine and dine. And this still says 55. It's less than that now. I haven't updated it, but yeah, I like my little holder. So if you're watching on YouTube, then you saw it. But if you're not, then hopefully you just know what I'm talking about. Or you can go look on YouTube. Anyway, Countdown to Dopey Challenge, January 4th, 3 months and 14 days. Oh, that's scary. Princess Weekend, February 23rd to 26th, 5 months and 2 days. Springtime Surprise, April 13th through the 16th. We've got 6 months and 23 days away. Pace update. I was going at like 13 to 14 minutes for my long run, honestly. And I kind of stick pretty closely to that, like 13:30, sometimes 13 minutes. Sometimes I have good miles that I can get down to like 12. But for these longer runs, especially at the end, I start slowing down a lot and like walking a little bit more and like skipping some of the intervals. But it's fine. That's what training's for. I'm training to get better. Total mileage, I'm going to say was about like 17 miles for week 12. That was tracked miles. So that wasn't including like the scheduled 4-mile walk that I didn't track because I just counted at Disney. And same for like the other 45 minutes. So this was just the tracked runs that I did, my 45-minute run and then the half marathon. So about 17 miles in that realm. Wow. That like really sinks in. Oh my gosh, I was talking to Shruti about this on our run, and we were like, we get so desensitized to the amount of miles that like we're running, but like we actually have to like think about it. Like it's a big deal to be running that much. And like we completed a half marathon on like a random Thursday morning. We did that for fun and for training and just for ourselves. Like there was no medal at the end. I was telling my friends, like, oh, hey, I'm going to be here, like, running a half marathon with my friend, and, like, if you don't hear from me by, like, this time, then be worried. And I set up, like, my Garmin Connect live track for, like, my friends and, like, my parents and stuff so that they can, like, know where I am and, like, see where I am, like, on my runs. And when I was letting my friends know, they were like, oh, there's a half marathon here tomorrow? Like, cool, which one? And I was like, no, we're just running... We're just running our own. Me and Shruti were like, yeah, we call it this superstar half marathon because we are superstars. Because we're just doing it. So, yeah, we were superstars. Anyway, next week, I will be covering how week 13 goes. We drop back down to the mere 3-mile long run, which I'm so thankful for. Because if every single weekend I had to be like 13, 16, 20, blah, I don't think I could be motivated to train. Like, I need these little breaks where we drop down again and I could, like, breathe for a week. So, love that. But looking into getting some more guests on here. Like I said, I got to get Shruti on here. I got to get a couple other friends who are interested, and I'm so excited. So, got to just get to planning that. So, don't you worry. But with that, thank you so much for tuning in, and get moving.